If I could start over learning chess, this is how I do it. Along the way, I discover what works best at each rating level, how to handle personal struggles like fear of losing and tilt, and how to break through a year-long plateau to eventually reach my all-time peak rating. This is my journey, and now you can learn from it. Let's go. When I started playing chess at 8, it was just a game. I had fun destroying my classmate in school. But everything changed when my 1-year older sister Christina, who I had taught to play chess, got ahead of me in the first youth Italian championship we played. I've always been a super competitive kid, and I couldn't stand the idea of my sister being stronger than me. So, since I was still hanging pieces, missing tactics in one move, and falling for opening traps, I started training chess to reach the level of 1000 elo as quickly as possible, and come back the next year to win the tournament. My first goal in every game was to find a way to get a good position early on. I kept encountering the same opening in nearly all the games I played, with both white and black pieces. So after e4, e5, these are the 3 essential openings you must learn. Starting with the poisonous queen h5. After blundering my rook a few times, I understood that the best way to defend the e5 pawn is with the knight, and learned how to deal with the 2 consequent scholars made threats. Number 2, the fried lever. The pawn on f7 is now attacked twice, by the knight and by the bishop, so the only way to defend is to play the move d5. But after pawn takes, black needs to be very careful, because if we take back with the knight, here white has a brilliant move. The knight gets sacrificed. It's a fork, so the king has to take back, but now the queen is coming to give a check, plus threaten the knight. And if black is not careful and tries to hide on g8, this is even checkmate in a few more moves. Last but not least, the Italian game with one killer plan for white. The main idea is to develop all the minor pieces, in particular the bishop on g5 and the knight on d5. Now this knight is pinned because the queen behind would be hanging, and the most played move at beginner level is a huge blunder. If the bishop retreats, this is good for black, but white has the in-between move knight take f6, check. So the pawn has to take, and now the pawn on h6 is unprotected, the rook is hanging, the rook has to move, and the only thing that white needs to do is to find a way to bring the queen on g4, to then give kiss of death. If black stops the idea of bishop g5 with the move h6, a backup development plan is with the move bishop e3. You don't have to worry about the 2 double pawns, because first of all you're controlling lots of central squares, but also you can use the open f file at your own advantage. A great plan for white is to bring the knight towards g3, and if black tries to go for the same idea, wanting to trade the bishop, you don't take but you retreat. And if they take, you're very happy to take back with the pawn. Even if you have many double pawns, there is no way for black to attack them. Plus, you have open files for your rooks. Especially the f file, you can use it to start an attack with moves like knight g3, knight f5, knight h4, bring the queen, bring even the rook. Attack the king. Learning these specific variations taught me the importance of opening principles. The 3 do's and the 3 don'ts. I then applied those to all other openings. Against the Sicilian, all I knew was that I want to go out with the knight and then to play the move d4. Once they take, I take back with the knight. And now all my pieces are going to be developed. Knight c3, bishop e2, bishop e3, short castle, queen d2, bring the rook towards the center. Against the Caro-Kann, I would go for the move d4, trade in the center, and then learn how to develop all my pieces. Bishop d3, knight f3, bishop f4, short castle, fully developing my pieces and getting a good position. Against the French, same approach as the Caro-Kann, trade in the center, and then find a way to develop all my pieces. Knight f3, bishop d3, short castle, bishop g5, knight c3. All white pieces will be out in good squares. Getting a good position out of the opening was not enough to win my games, so I had to find a way to win material. That's why I solved thousands of tactical exercises from books, and I loved so much tricky knight forks. Nowadays, the best way to solve tactics online is the custom puzzles feature on both Lichess and chess.com. Make sure to set a rating plus and minus 500 of your current rapid rating. This way you train the types of moves you need to find during your games. Not too hard, like rated puzzles, and not too easy, like Puzzle Rush. Step 2 helps tremendously to win material, or not to lose material, but also this is not enough. You need to learn how to convert an advantage into a win. And the golden rule is that when you're up material, you want to trade down pieces of equal value to simplify the position and reach an endgame. Now, I had to learn all the elementary checkmates so I could convert all those positions with massive advantages. But then I also needed to study pawn endgames in order to convert these advantages as little as one extra pawn. Very important to know, is this position winning for white or is it a draw? What if it's white to move or black to move? Let me know it in the comments. Last but not least, we don't play chess all the same way. So point 4 is to definitely learn from your specific mistakes. Game reviews can be boring and overwhelming, especially when you don't have so many brilliant moves, but actually many different types of blunders to correct. Keep it simple and get quickly the most out of it with 2 questions. Did I follow the opening principles? If not, what could I have done better? Then find an alternative to just those blunders where you lost material. And now, very important, adjust your tactic training according to the type of blunders you make the most. For example, one of my students was missing lots of discovery attacks and discovery checks, so I made him solve just this type of tactics for a few days. After 1 year of hard work with this system, at my second participation in the Youth National Championship, I finished first and became the Italian champion girl under 10. My chess level was now over 1000 elo, and my next challenge was the Youth World Championship. While winning felt amazing, it created a new problem: higher expectations. I was already dreaming of reaching 2000 elo, becoming part of the Italian national team one day. Suddenly, I felt the pressure to keep winning, and with that came a fear I'd never felt before. During my first World Championship in Vietnam, I was so afraid of losing that I started settling for draws. It became my safety net, a way to escape the pressure. Even in better positions or winning endgames, the risk of losing felt unbearable. This struggle stayed with me for years, and I only truly overcame it as an adult. If I could talk to little Alessia, here is what I say. I know you hear adults talk a lot about great achievements, winning tournaments, and all the amazing rewards of great performances. But the truth is that behind every success story are countless struggles, mistakes, and lessons learned. To hit the target, you have to be willing to miss. So instead of trying to protect yourself from losses with lots of draws, find the courage to fight on and focus on doing your absolute best and learn from your mistakes. One day, you will love the motto: either you win or you learn. My mindset wasn't the only obstacle. I had to create a new rival. The girl who had finished second in the Italian Championship behind me, Gaia. She beat me the following year and took third place ahead of me. This was a big problem. Because Gaia was my age, from my hometown, she would be at every single tournament I played. Once again, my focus shifted to improving and reaching 1500 elo as quickly as possible. I kept solving tactic consistently, and the how made a huge difference. My goal was to see the entire solution until the very end. So I didn't just play the first move that my intuition said, this must be right, because I knew that this wouldn't help during my games. Instead, I made sure to calculate the right way, checking first my move, then the best defense of my opponent, and made sure to keep going like this until I had checked all variation and found a clear advantage in each of them. Openings. There I didn't make many changes. I actually just introduced one new opening, the Sicilian defense, because I am a very aggressive player, so if you are also aggressive, try to choose opening that can emphasize that. For more positional players, there are also many solid options as well. By far the most important adjustment I made from 1000 elo to 1500 was reducing my blunders. And I see the importance of this also in my students nowadays. I ask myself 3 questions at every single move. 1. What's the idea or the threat of my opponent's last move? If there is a threat, make sure to find a defense or actually a counterattack. Number 2, in many cases the move of your opponent doesn't have a threat. So you need to ask, is there something hanging I can take? Scan the position for unprotected pieces and try to see where your own pieces can move in order to take advantage of them. Number 3, do I leave something hanging if I make this move? Before making a move, make sure to check if the piece that you're about to move is hanging in the square you want to go, and if that piece was defending something else behind. This will stop many blunders. If you want to improve your thinking process even further, I recommend these 2 videos by a great YouTuber. I will link them at the end of the video. With all this training, 1 year later at the national championship, I came back stronger and reclaimed my title of Italian champion, while Gaia finished second. Watching my success was a future chess legend. Subscribe if you recognize him. While reaching 1500 elo felt like a natural progression, getting to 2000 was a completely different challenge. My biggest problem was not knowing what to do after the opening. I could play the first 10 to 15 moves confidently, but then, once I reached the middle game, I often felt lost. I struggled to create the right plans and to evaluate the positions in front of me. That's why I started studying positional chess from different books. These resources taught me how to find a good logical move in different types of positions and pawn structures. Although I made progress, it wasn't at the same pace as before. Eventually, I hit a 1 year plateau around 1900 elo, one step away from my dream goal, and started questioning if I've reached my peak. I had to change something. So I started working with a coach. He helped me more to understand how to find the right plan in my games by selecting master games in the specific opening I was playing. We also analyzed my tournament games to focus on improving my specific weaknesses, like theoretical endgames and converting advantages into wins. That said, I know that not everyone has the privilege to work with a coach because it can be expensive. If you're looking to improve your chess on a lower budget, these are nowadays my 2 favorite resources. First of all, the course of my husband, GM Noel Studer, which is a step-by-step method to help you break through your plateau by optimizing the way you train. 2. Chessmood, a platform with over 500 hours of grandmaster courses on pretty much everything: opening, calculation, positional chess, and games. But sometimes improving is not just about chess skills. The most valuable lesson I learned during my 1 year plateau is about mindset. I realized progress is not linear, and the plateau doesn't mean you have peaked. It's just a clear signal that you have to change something. Just thanks to this strong belief, I kept experimenting and consistently training to prepare for my most important tournament of my career, the Italian Championship. And not the youth anymore, but the official one, with women of all ages. The tournament didn't start smoothly, as I lost 1 game in round 3. But after a strong comeback, everything came down to the final round. A win would crown me the Italian champion. And to make things more dramatic, my opponent was Gaia, my old rival, who was once again closing the gap in our ratings. Once the game started, I managed to hold my nerves in the opening, got a better position in the middle game, and kept improving it until the final tactical blow. I took the knight with my bishop to then follow up with the move knight e4 check, and once the king moves away, I can trade the knight, because after pawn takes, the rook is no longer protected, so queen e4 wins the rook, and she resigned. After a 1 year plateau, the light at the end of the tunnel was brighter than I'd ever imagined. I crossed the barrier of 2000 elo by becoming the Italian champion, and a few months later reached my all-time peak of 2217 FIDE. earning a spot to represent Italy in the Chess Olympiads. What once felt like a distant dream to little Alessia, scared of losing and disappointing her parents, had now become a reality. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one, how to calculate in chess, my 3-step method, super useful at any level. Thank you for watching, ciao!